When using my rear brake, I found I needed to angle my foot in slightly to reach the tip of the brake lever, which isn't that comfortable if you're doing it all day. So I had a look online and found various rear brake tips, and decided to go with this titanium model made by ProPegs, which has a nicely serrated tip to stop your boot sliding off it, and the overall size is a fair bit larger than the stock one. As you can see here, the brake tip is held in with 2 bolts, and to change it you just need a 25 Torx bit. Here you can see the size difference between the stock peg and the ProPegs Titanium peg. The ProPegs peg is quite a bit bigger, which should make it a lot easier to find with my foot, and also stop me having to bend my foot in when I use the brake. Regarding weight difference, the stock tip is 14 grams and the ProPegs Titanium tip is 19 grams, so actually a little bit heavier, but not a significant difference. I think the main benefit of having a titanium tip is it's going to be strong and resist bending. Also, the teeth should remain sharp for a long time and prevent your boot slipping off it when you're using it. The brake tip bolts are held in with Loctite, so before you refit them, make sure you clean off the old Loctite. So I just use a wire brush and clean it off like that. Then when you refit the bolts, make sure you use some medium strength Loctite. So I use Loctite 243. Then installation of the new tip is as simple as installing it with the 2 bolts. And make sure you don't over torque these fasteners. They're held in with Loctite, so they don't need to be super tight. One thing to note is that the ProPegs tip is slightly higher than the stock tip. I like to have my brake lever level with the foot peg, so I use a straight edge like this to judge that, and as you can see it's probably about 3 or 4 millimeters higher than level. So I'm going to need to adjust it down and also adjust the free play. To change the height of the brake tip, I use this adjuster bolt here. Before you can adjust it, you need to slacken off the nut on the end of it, and then I want the brake tip to go down, so I screw the bolt out of the adjuster, which moves the brake tip down, and then using the straight edge method I check the height. Okay, so I've adjusted the height of the brake lever, and then I just recheck it using the straight edge, and you can see here it's exactly level with the foot peg now. Once you finish adjusting the height of the brake lever, be sure to retighten the lock nut here, and you need to hold the bolt while you're doing it, otherwise the adjuster bolt will turn around. The last step is to check the brake lever free play. The specification is between 3 and 5 millimeters, and I use a caliper. Right now it's set to 5 millimeters, and hold it on the clutch case and then depress the rear brake pedal, and you stop when you start feeling some resistance, which is when the brake pedal starts to engage on the master cylinder. And there you can see it's slightly less than 5 millimeters, and then I can set it to 3 millimeters and test again, and now you can see it's slightly more than 3 millimeters. So right now it's set to about 4 millimeters, which is spot on. If you need to adjust the amount of free play, it's done with this adjuster here. Either screw the adjuster in or out, depending on which way you need to go, and make sure you retighten the lock nut when you've finished. So that's the install complete. I'm looking forward to my next ride when I can test it.